So today's date is November 8th. And I'm going to teach you about inequalities. Inequalities, please. Your iPad away and your notebook open.
December's the last month of the year.
Correct. Okay, does anybody know what this symbol is called from elementary school? Correct, but this one is called the less than.
Because the first number is what is greater than or less than.
So this one's the less than, and this one is the greater than. Greater than. Is that fine? The way I remember the difference between less than and greater than, this one looks more like an L. So the one that looks like in the direction of an L is the less than, because it starts with an L. That's how literally I remember the connection. The one that looks like an L is your less than, greater than. And like Edwin kept repeating over and over again, it's like the alligator from elementary school. Crocodile. All right. Now, do you know what this one would be called?
Less than or equal to.
Exactly. This one is called less than or equal to. So this extra little bar here, it's like half an equal sign. So Edwin, can we bother you by writing this down? I know it's a lot to ask, but everyone else is doing it, so the expectation is that you do it as well. Thank you. Okay, so less than or equal to. So it has the less than symbol plus half an equal sign. So less than or equal to. All right? So therefore, this one stands for greater than or equal to. This is a foundational skill that you need to know how you what they're called, because your teacher in like geometry or algebra 2 is going to be like, okay, what's your answer? And you're going to have to use this vocabulary. Okay, so we got to get used to it. Now I'm going to do something. It's not going to make any sense to you whatsoever right now, but it will in the next 5 minutes. Yeah, I want you to put an open circle on the first two and a closed circle on the last two. Now these mean something. Open circle and closed circle mean something. Right now they mean nothing to you other than just write them down. Open circle for less than, open circle for greater than, closed circle for less than or equal to, closed circle for greater than or equal to. So when you're in algebra 2 and the teacher's going to be like, is that an open circle or a closed circle? You're going to go back to 7th grade and be like, oh yeah, she taught me when it's open and when it's closed. Basically, it's open when there's no equal to part. It's closed when you have the words equal to. Yeah. All right. So the first thing I'm going to teach you is how to graph. Yes.
You put less than or equal to the end.
Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. What did I do wrong?
Isn't it both?
Huh?
When you put and because it's both,
No, or. It's one or the other.
then why do you put signs?
So it's either less than or it's equal to. Let's,
What's the problem that
well, that's what I'm getting into. So let's graph it. Well, we're going to do level 1 today, which is graphing and writing. So we're going to graph, and then we're going to do like word problems, and then it's like, okay. So like for example, a word problem would be like, in order to ride the ride at Knott's Berry Farm, you have to be at least 46 inches. Have you all been to like a roller coaster and like you have to measure yourself, or at the fair to measure yourself, right? Now you're at a height where you all like can ride the rides. But a couple years ago you were like, oh, you're right there, right? So this has to do with those type of problems where like you have to be at least 46 inches or 48 inches or whatever it is. Okay, graph. X is less than 2. So in order to drink out of a baby bottle, you have to be less than 2 years old. Be less than 2. So you can be any age less than 2 to drink out of a baby's bottle. I don't know. That's the first thing that popped into my head. So here's how we graph it. This is how I graph it, and this is how the expectation for you to graph it. You draw a number line. Whatever this number is, will go right in the middle. 2. Then you're going to do 2 numbers below the 2. So what are 2 numbers below the 2? 1, 0. 2 numbers above. 3, 4. So again, this is level 1 where we learn how to graph. So graph X is less than 2. So a number less than 2. I want a number that's less than 2.
1.
1, is that it?
No.
0, is that it?
No. All the negatives.
All the negatives, all the decimals, right? Okay, so how do I show that? How do I show that it's more than one number that can fit here? What we do is we shade. Now, is 2, can I write 2 in this problem? Can I do 2 is less than 2?
No.
No. 2 is not less than 2, right? So is 2 part of my answer? No. So what we do is we use an open circle on the number 2. It's open because 2 is not less than 2. 1 is less than 2, right? So 1, because I think that's, Eddie, that was your first answer, right? 1. So that means we're going to shade in this direction. We are going to shade in the direction of our answers. Our answer could be 1. Our answer could be 0. Our answer could be negatives. All of these numbers to the left are possible answers. Numbers to the right are not, so we don't shade to the right. We can only shade to the left. You can eat less than 2 cookies. You can only eat less than 2 cookies. Oh, okay, so I can eat 1 cookie. I can eat 0 cookies. All the less than 2. It's an open circle because 2 is not part of my answer. 2 is not less than 2. Are we okay? All right, let's try another example. X is greater than negative 6. X is greater than negative 6. X is greater than negative 6. So the first thing you do to graph is you draw yourself a little number line. And you put this number, whatever this number is, you put it right in the middle. All right? So this is when you're graphing for me, I want this number in the middle. What's the first mistake kids do? They put 0 in the middle. It's like, no, don't put 0 in the middle. Put whatever number I give you in the middle. Whatever number you get, in the middle. Now, 2 numbers below and 2 numbers above. This is where kids make mistake because it's a negative. What are 2 numbers that are below negative 6? Negative 7 and negative 8. Remember in the number line, in the negative, everything is backwards. So the more you go this way, you're counting backwards. And it becomes smaller, but it has a bigger absolute value. Then this is negative 5, and this is negative 4. So that's the number one mistakes kids do, is when they are starting to deal with negative numbers on a number line, they want to put 5 and 4 over here. They just like, oh, they has to be. And it's like, no. Be careful. If you want to put like, okay, 0's over here. Remember, 0's all the way over here. All right. I'm going to be asking you, like, okay, is it an open circle or a closed circle? Well, it says x is greater than negative 6. Is it equal to negative 6? No. So if there's no little extra line, it's an open circle. Now, which way do I shade, left or right? Which numbers satisfy the alligator eating the bigger number?
Right.
To the right. Graphing shows which numbers are possible solutions. Graphing allows us to see, like, wow, there's a billion numbers that are part of this solution. What numbers are greater than -6? There's not just one number that's bigger than -6. There's like trillions of numbers. All right, any questions? All right, let's try one with a closed circle. Yeah. X is greater than or equal to, let's say, 5. Let's stick with the positive numbers. All right, so let's graph this. Which number goes in the middle? 5. Then 2 numbers below, which is 4 and 3. 2 numbers above, which is 6 and 7. Now it says, I'm looking for a number that's greater than or equal to 5. So here we have the equal to part. Is 5 greater than or equal to 5?
Yes.
Yes, it's the equal to. 5 is equal to 5. So we're going to have a closed circle. A closed circle, because 5 is equal to 5. It's the equal to part. 5 is greater than or it's equal to 5. Is 6 greater than or equal to 5? Yes. This is the greater to part, right? 6 is greater than or equal to 5. So it's the greater than part. Is 4 greater than or equal to 5? No. So that means I'm going to shade in the direction of a yes. So 6 is a yes, 4 is a no. So I'm going to shade in the direction of the 6, which means I'm going to be shading to the right.
Where do you shade when it's equal to?
The shading equal, it's a closed circle. The closed circle means the equal to part. Because that means that that number can be used and you'll get a yes. When it's an open circle, it's just like a home, but it doesn't really belong. All right, what if I give you x is less than or equal to 22? First thing you have to do is draw a number line. Which number is in the middle? 22, 23, 24, 21, 20. Open or closed circle? Closed. Because 22 is greater than or equal to 22. 22 is less than or equal to 22. It's the less than part, right? So it's a yes. Now, so this means closed circle on the 22. So there's my closed circle. All right.
So
Now,
if it's just X, then what would you do if it was just X?
well, like x is less than x?
No, if it was X is greater than or less than 22, what would it be?
Well, you can't have both. You can't have less than or and greater than.
What would you do if you put like X in?
Where?
If it was the same as that, then what would you do? You just,
Okay, write down a problem for me and then tell me.
it's already written down.
I'm graphing this. I'm not done with it. Your first step is to determine if it's open or closed circle. It's closed because 22 is less than or equal to 22, right? The second step you have to do is which way do you shade? Left or right? Which way do I shade? Left or right? Yeah, left. Why? Because it's less than. So these are the numbers that are less than over there. You can choose one of these numbers. I'm going to choose 20. Is 20 less than or equal to 22? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes.
I also see that wherever the alligators
Yes, that is one way to tell. It's like a shortcut way. Whatever.
All the time?
No. That is pointing in the direction you're graphing. That is a shortcut. You see, this is pointing to the left. So this is graphed to the left. This is pointing to the right. So this is pointing to the right. Do you guys see that connection? Yeah.
Miss Lomelli,
Yes.
can you give us a question that does not go the way the tail's out?
Yes. I'll do it right now. This, you can't use that shortcut. What's different for this example?
The S isn't on front.
Yeah. So the variable is second. So when the variable is second, the it's not pointing in the direction you're shading. This is when it's like,
Wouldn't it be pointing the opposite way?
yeah.
Oh,
It'll be pointing.
is that how to figure out which way it's going?
Yep.
Which way to shade?
Yep.
Or, okay.
So when here, this is like level 1.5. You have 13 in the middle, 12, 11, 14, 15. Open or closed circle?
Open.
It's open. Which way do you shade?
To
Left.
the right.
To the left.
Left. To the left.
So, yeah, when your X is second, you just flip this. You could technically flip it to begin with. You see how the pointer is pointing to the X, so you just keep it that way. So this is the opposite. So now it is pointing that way.
Oh.
You have the right to flip it, pointing the same direction. When your X is first. When your X is first, it's pointing in that direction. Now that's a shortcut. Mathematically, you still have to understand this part, where it's like you shade the numbers that makes a statement true. Like, is the alligator eating the bigger number here? No, the alligator is mad because it's supposed to be eating the 5, not the 4. So it's a no. It hates it. All right? Any questions on this? Okay, so we're going to pause the notes. We're going to practice this, and then I got to teach you the second part of this. So,
On the book.
hold on. All right, second part is not writing, but, not graphing, but writing. So we are going to write the inequality. All right. So, Keelys, can you write this down, please? Thank you. All right. You're going to start with a graph. So start, Jesus, we write this down, and pay attention, and magically you'll learn it. But you have to write it down, and you have to pay attention.
Is that the back side?
Eventually, yeah.
I already did it.
Okay. But we're still writing these notes down. All right. Write the inequality. Okay, so for the first one, we have a closed circle and it's shaded to the, Jaylene, we're shaded to the right. Okay. Here's the easiest way to do this. The easiest way. Do not complicate your life. You are going to start with writing your X first. One way to complicate your life is to write the number first. But always write the X first. X comes first. Then write the number that the circle's on. What number is the circle on? 7. All right, so you're going to start with X and always the number. X and always a number. We're good? We're good with that? Okay, now, which way is it shading? Left or right?
Right.
So the right. Oh, look, that is the inequality you're using. Here, see that inequality I just pointed to? That's what we're using. Now wait, one more thing. Is it closed?
Yes.
So, extra line.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
This is so hard. This makes sense now. Mom, this is easy. I think I'm a 3-2.
Let's just do a negative one. -7. -8. -9. This is the last one we'll write down. So everybody write it down. Everybody write it down. Everybody write it down. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Edwin, write this last one down. This is the last one we're going to write down for our notes. So write it down, please. Make sure your negative numbers are numbered correctly at the bottom, ordered correctly. Number one mistake. Okay, so again, you don't want to mess this up. Always start with your x. It's the easiest way to do it. So x, and then the number. What's the number? -7. Now, which way is this pointing? To the left. Oh, look. That's the inequality I get to use. Is it open or is it closed? Open, so you just leave it alone. So the answer is x is less than -7.
This is easy.
Correct. Okay, tomorrow, next level of difficulty. But today, this is super important, and it's easy. Okay, all right. Let's finish out the period by completing the backside. Okay. Yes.